Okay, good. Yeah, forgot to start the recording at the beginning. Okay, but we're good now. All right. So we've got now Pokemon list has access to our Pokemon data. And we know we want to map over the data. So map over Pokemon. Once we have each individual Pokemon, what should we do then? Do we want to create a Pokemon card to store the information for each Pokemon, perhaps? All right, so that means we're going to need a Pokemon card component. All right, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Card.js. All right. And so I know when you're first starting out that it's really tempting to go ahead and copy and paste this kind of, because I kind of got a template in Pokemon list. Come on, get on the way. I've kind of got a template for a React app right here. I mean, React component right here. Why don't I just copy and paste it? Well, the reason for that is because when you're first starting out, you want to get your reps in. You know what I'm saying? You want to just know instinctively, without even thinking about it, what you need to type in order to make a component. And the only way that's going to happen is if you're creating React component after React component, getting your reps in. And I still do that, even though I've been using React for close to a year now. Equals, and we know we're going to need props, so we'll just go ahead and put props in there. Return. Okay. So I'm going to put a div in there as well. And before I forget, we'll put in our export default Pokemon card. Awesome. I think that's good. So now we have the elements that we're going to map to. All right, so how do we map over our Pokemon? What do I need to do to make this happen?
Use the props to get the data.
Yeah. So do you want to set that to some kind of variable, or how do you want me to implement it?
Would it help to dereference props first?
You definitely could. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you want to do something like this, that's kind of personal preference. There's nothing wrong with leaving props and just doing props.pokemon. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. So let's say, for example, that I want to map over my props right here. What do I need? What's the first step? What's the thing I need first? This is JSX land. What do I need to do in order to type?
Curly braces.
That's right. In order to just type JavaScript inside of JSX, we're going to need to use curly brackets. All right, so what's next?
The Pokemon.map.
That's right, Pokemon.map. Yeah, okay, this worked. Okay, and then we'll just call it Moan for monster. And what was our component called again? Pokemon card, right? All right, let's go ahead and import that. Oh, wait a minute, it's already imported. Okay, right on.
You called it Pokemon card.
What? Did I really?
Yeah.
Pokemon card. Oh, I'm so tempted to leave it, man. I was so tempted to leave it. Oh, that's funny. That's not gonna work. Oh, that's so funny. It's Pokemon card here too. Awesome. That's pretty. Uh, Pokemon. All right. Awesome. Okay, and what kind of information do we need to pass down to this Pokemon card? Need to pass that mon information, right? Because like each one of these items represents that name and URL, that object that contains that name and URL. So I think I'm just gonna call it mon equals mon. So I think that'll work there. All right, so now we're here. This is where it gets interesting, right? Because we actually need to get more information about these Pokemon here, which means I think we're going to actually be making another Axios call in each one of these. All right. So I'm trying to think of what I think would probably be the best way. I mean, we're definitely going to need a use effect. We know that, right? Use effect. But we don't want to make this use effect call every time the component renders, because it's not going to have access to the data every time it renders. Or will it? Maybe it will. Yeah, let's see what we've got going on here. All right, so we've got
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So in your mind, what are you trying to create?
I'm trying to create a list of cards of every generation 1 Pokemon.
Okay. So you're gonna have like each individual cards with
Yeah.
like the picture, the name, and then like information, and then it's gonna populate with all 150, or
Yep, that's right.
And then they can click on it to make it bigger or something.
We could do that. We can totally do that.
Okay, I'm just wondering, just to kind of get an idea of how you're trying to what are you creating, and then how are you implementing that?
Yeah. I honestly don't have too much of a plan other than that we were going to use the Pokemon API, and my first thought was, let's see the first generation of Pokemon. Okay, so we're getting this little error right here that we need the key prop. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. And the deal with this key prop is like, my suspicion is that like React stores all these components and elements inside of some kind of like dictionary in the back end, some like hash table or object. And they use this key to quickly grab the element to update it. But in order to set the key, we're gonna need the index. Set this to the index of the Pokemon. All right. And we know we get the name. So let's go ahead and do the name here. H for props.name, perhaps. Let's test that, see if that works. Does not. Oh, dude. Oh, we've got to check if we even oh, so we need to make sure that we actually have Pokemon to render. So let's go ahead and make a ternary statement. Pokemon.length is greater than 0. So, and that is incorrect. So this is something you're going to have to do in React a lot, because the state of this data at first is an empty array when the component is first rendered. When the component is first rendered, sure, it starts to make this Axios call, but before that can even be called, it's rendering all its child components. So it's actually passing down that empty array the first time Pokemon list is rendered. So we need to make sure that we account for that. So the way I'm counting that is if the Pokemon length is greater than 0, then we're going to map through these Pokemon and create these Pokemon cards. Else, we'll just maybe have like a paragraph tag that says loading. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have this here as well. All right.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so like the API that I was using earlier for Pokemon, it doesn't allow you to sort by generation. So is there anything that would be wrong in, say, like doing the Axios call on the main page like you have done, and then later on in the list when you wanted to get more information, say like, because I don't believe the one you're using now has images, could I call the API that I originally used on a different one to get more information?
Mm-hmm. That's what we're about to do. We're about to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What have I screwed up here? Okay. So it looks like we have an extra parentheses. Pokemon. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So we're still not seeing anything here, but it could be that we have the wrong like shape of the data where it's not what we expect it to be. So I'm just going to say Pokemon card right here so we know that it's even rendering. Okay, awesome. So the Pokemon card is rendering. We just, props is not what we think it is. Oh, duh. Okay, awesome. So props the name of our property is mon. So we need props.mon or mon.name. Oh, okay, right on. I bet that will fix it. Awesome, yeah. So we have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Charmander, blah, 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 blah. I think the last one is Mew or Mewtwo. Mew, awesome. Okay, so we have our Pokemon names. Now we actually need the Pokemon information, which was props.mon.url, I believe. So that means we're gonna have to make an Axios call. Axios from Axios. By the way, guys, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to chime in. I'm just like, I don't have this plan, so I'm like kind of like building the project as we go. And I think that we can just do this on render. But the thing is, though, like, what if somewhere up the chain we change the data? Like, we want to get the next generation. then it's not going to know that needs to re-render. So maybe we should do this props.mom. All right, so do you guys get what this logic is right here? Yeah, all right. Just in case someone doesn't, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. So this is a side effect. So whenever the state of this data changes, this function is gonna run. That's all that means. Props.mom changes, then this function runs every time. It'll also, of course, run when the component first renders as well.
So that is only going to change if the generation changes, or what?
Yeah. I mean, as far as we know, I mean, we actually don't really even know what all kinds of functionality we're going to include in this yet.
Also, a question.
Yeah.
Why are we doing another Axios call? Don't we get the name and picture at the very beginning, and don't we just need to like?
That's a great question. Actually, what we're getting is not the picture; it's the URL for more information about the Pokemon. So let's see, right here. Control C. Actually, but we don't need all that. We just need version 2 forward. Okay.
Got it.
All right, so here is the res.data that we're going to get back. And wow, look at all of that information. That's crazy. Sprites is where we're going to get our image, and we are going to use front default, I believe. Awesome. And we can decide, like maybe we can include the types, stuff like that. We'll have to decide what information we want to include with the Pokemon. All right. All right, so axios.get, and our URL is on mom.url, I believe. This could be wrong. We'll find out here in a little bit. .then res. Do that. Oh, dude, we're gonna need some state, aren't we? We are gonna need some state in this function because we're gonna be changing the information about the Pokemon. Okay, const Pokedata. Pokedata, sure, why not? And we'll do set Pokedata equals state. Yes, it imported. Awesome. And I think this is an object, so I'm gonna my initial value is going to be an empty object. And then we will set Pokedata to res.data. So usually you'll want to console log response or res or whatever to make sure the shape, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to get exactly what I'm expecting based on this website for this API. So I'm just going to like use that by default, and if we get an error, then we'll have to check it. All right, catch error. Error. I think that looks good. Awesome. Okay, so what information do we want on the card? Well, we definitely want the image. We know we want the image, so let's go ahead and do that first. And we're gonna have to have some logic in here because when this first renders, we're not gonna have the Pokedata is gonna be an empty object. So we're gonna have to account for that. So what is the best way to do that? There's a lot of different ways to do that. I think maybe, what was it? Was it sprites? Pokedata.sprites. So we'll check to see if pokedata.sprites exists. If it's not there, if it doesn't exist, then we're going to get an undefined or null, which in JavaScript is falsy. So we'll get a false. It won't pass the test. So pokedata.sprites, and if there is a pokedata.sprites, then we want to go ahead and render an image element. If not, then we could do like a paragraph tag like we did before with like a loading image message. Loading image 1, 2, 3. I think that should work. Source. The source will be, what will the source be? Sprite dot front default. Sprites dot default. So pokedata dot sprites dot front default. Does that look right, guys? I'm counting on you guys to like catch my errors and stuff. I'm like doubting myself. Let's just screw it. Let's like control S this bitch and see my language and see what we're getting. Oh, dude, we got images. That's what I'm talking about. All right, they're a little small, so we're definitely gonna have to do some styling. But I mean, they're all like in like a column anyway, so we're definitely gonna have to do some stuff. Awesome. All right, so that means the data was the shape that we expected it to be in. Okay, let's go back and look at this and like, yeah.
What would the error look like if you didn't do that logic in there with the if?
Oh, with the ternary statement? So it's going to be something like .pokedata.sprites doesn't exist or something like that. So let's go ahead and delete this and see what happens if we don't do that. It's a great question. Oh, here we are. Cannot read property front default of undefined. So pokedata is defined, but pokedata dot sprites is undefined, and you cannot read the property front default of undefined. So that's the error we're getting. All right, let's undo this stuff. You're going to get really comfortable with ternary statements because you're going to find yourself doing this kind of thing a lot in React.
Where's a question mark come into play?
Okay, yeah. This is just like syntax you're going to have to get used to, kind of like the destructuring thing. So this is basically, this is an if statement, right? So you're going to have like maybe you could have if pokedata.sprites equals front default or something like that. You could have that. It's a test. So you're looking for a true or false value. If that value is true, then whatever is after the question mark happens. All right. If that value is false, then whatever is after the colon happens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy, man. Like when you start React, it's like you're already starting something new with React, but then they like throw a bunch of ES6 like new JavaScript syntax at you at the same time, so it kind of gets a little nuts. All right. Oh yeah, we wanted to look at the data and see what else we wanted to get. We already have the name, but types. Types is an array. At each array, there is an object, and that object has a slot property and a type property. Oh my gosh, that's really convoluted. All right, but I think that's what we're gonna do, like maybe like a types or something. types. And some Pokemon only have one type, so we'll definitely have to account for that. Types. And we're going to have a ternary statement here as well, as a matter of fact, because we're not always going to have this information. Wow, this is going to get really crazy. Okay, so if Pokedata dot, what was it? Types? Dot types. So if that exists, then we're going to want to create a span to hold this information. But it's an array. It's an array. So we're going to have to map this, I think. Yeah, we totally are. Okay. So pokedata.types.map. And each one of those is type objects. I'm just going to call it an object. And for each one of those objects, we want to have a span that will include, wow, this is really convoluted, isn't it?
Mhm.
That will include the type, and it's an object with type again, I believe, and then name. Was that right? And then we're probably going to want a space in between them. Wow, dude, that is crazy. That is really convoluted. All right, and if it's not there, then we can have another paragraph tag. What should we put if it's not there? Maybe, not sure. Not sure. All right, let's see what that, I mean, let's get this correct. Oh, it's so ugly and long. All right, let's put that right there. This right here. All right, that's a little better. All right, let's see what that looks like. Oh, dude, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so we have the types. You'd have like the Pokedex number. That's a good thing to have on there. Get out of the way. All right. Pokedex number. Holler it out if you see it. Is this it? ID? We need to check another Pokemon to see if it's ID. So
Or order.
Oh, where'd you see that? Where'd you see that?
Right below. It's 3 lines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, which one? Which one should we do? I don't know.
They both change the exact same. So I think either one would work.
Let's go crazy. Let's like do like a next gen Pokemon and like see like which one actually gives us the ID and which one ID is right. Order is weird. Whoa, what is this? I wonder what that even means. Okay, so
power, like how their power is or something.
Oh, like some kind of ranking or something. I gotcha.
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we need ID. And is that accessible in the top level of the object, I guess? It kind of looks like it is. Let's try that. And we're probably gonna want that at the top left. And it's gonna be small, so we'll just call it a P tag. So props. No, it wasn't props, it was Pokedata. Pokedata dot ID. Let's go. All right. Awesome. All right. So we have a basis, right? We're like we've got something going. Let's like try to do some. Oh, whoa. Key props. P cannot appear as a descendant of P. Okay, let's fix that. We have a P tag inside of another P tag somewhere. Ah, right here. No, not sure. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay, so yeah, let's make this a span. All right, span. That way it doesn't get mad at us. And we're also missing key somewhere where we're not. Oh, it's seriously right here? Is this what it's talking about? That's kind of crazy. And we'll go ahead and get the index of this. Let's see if it's still mad at us real quick. Okay, no more errors. We are getting a warning that because we don't have an AL and alt prop in our image. Nope. Alt equals props.mom.name. There we go. I like it. Okay, let's do some styling. Let's go ahead and start at the top with style components. What are we looking at right here? This is the app component. So I think like right here, we can have something like Pokemon, like generation 1 Pokemon or something like that. Let's go ahead and make that a thing. Do it H1. Generation. Pokemon. Let's import styled components. Import styled from styled components. All right, awesome. All right, so when it comes to style components, I like to put my style components at the bottom of the component because usually you style something like maybe once and you don't have to look at it ever again. So, and usually if you have a bug, it's really like in this part of the file. So I like to have that closer to the top. And the way I do style components is I create one container for each component, and it contains all the styles like this, and we will change this to container. Probably gonna want display flex, right? Display flex. And that's gonna put everything like in a row. So we don't want that. We want it to be in a column, I think. Flex direction column. We're gonna want it to be in the center. So we're going to align items center. If I were to put justify content center, what would be the effect in this case?
Flip the order of them.
It wouldn't flip the order, but instead of like what I'm trying to get with this right here is I'm trying to get them in the center of the screen. And justified content center will center them horizontally. I want to center them vertically. And since we flipped our direction here with flex direction column, that's why we're going to have to use align item center to do that. Let's make sure that we're getting the expected behavior out of our styling. We are. All right, good. Let's go ahead and go to our next component. By the way, guys, I'm like just like doing this off the top of my head. So if anybody has like other ideas for styling, I am not a designer, man. That
What
is
would it look like in a row?
Yes, we definitely should do that. Import styled from styled components. All right, and we're gonna have our container right here. Container styled dot div. Go ahead and I always forget when I make my style component. I always forget to go ahead and put it on the object on the component. Okay, so we want them to be in a row. How should we do that? Definitely going to want to use Flexbox because I have never used CSS Grid my entire life. I need to figure that out. Display flex. Let's just see what that gives us. Display flex. And then we can go from there. Whoa, okay, well, we've got them in a row. A really long row. That's not what we want. All right, so what should we do, guys?
Wrap them.
Yeah, wrap them.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's wrap. All right. And that will definitely do something. Yeah. Awesome. But that's still not quite there. Probably though, a lot of the changes we're gonna have to make from this point on are probably gonna be in the card.
When we just want to put a margin and borders around them.
Yes, we definitely should. Let's go ahead and put some padding on this container, as a matter of fact, while we're here.
Should we flex inside? What is that called?
Flex inside.
Where it doesn't, if you put padding or margin, it doesn't expand it out. It keeps it within itself. What is that?
Oh, border box.
Border box.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably do that. Oh, that got us off the edges at least. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to make some changes to these cards because I do not like that. Not like that at all. All right, let's get into the card and let's fix this because it's starting to bug me. All right. So we're gonna need style components here too. Where it's styled from. Create our container, const container style dot div. By the way, there's nothing absolutely correct about the way I'm doing this here. This is my style. This is how I do it. You can make multiple style components if you want. It's completely up to you. I like to do it this way because it kind of works like less, where you can have the objects inside of this div nested inside of that style component container. Right. So, what size should we have it? How wide should this container be? Or in this card?
What would auto do?
Auto, like with auto?
Yeah, what would that do? Would that
I have no clue. Let's find out. If it does something cool, I'm gonna it's completely blow my mind because I've never done it before. Okay, it looks like it completely trolled us and didn't do anything. Let's maybe do let's just go for 400 really quick and see what that looks like. Wow. Why, what, look at all this space over here. What's going on here, man? Okay, let's call this maybe 360. Okay, I like that, but look at how it's all see how it's all weighted to the left? Does anybody have any ideas on how to fix that?
Could you do like 25%, something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, you totally could. There's an easier way to do it on the parent div though, I think, with Flexbox. Yeah, maybe like with justify content or something. Justify content. Space evenly. See what that looks like. It's still all the way to the left. That's unacceptable. So what's happening here? Let's do something here. Border one pix solid gray. What is going on here? Why are they all to the right like that? Oh, or maybe this card, actually this card is probably like way out here, right? That's probably what's happening. And we just don't have, okay, awesome. Okay, gotcha. Let's go ahead and take that off.
What does not border box, what did I say? Is it border box? What does border box do? Would that solve that problem?
Box sizing border box keeps like padding, margin, border, all of that within the dimensions of the element. So, so like if you have a div that has like maybe 400 pixels and it has a 3-pixel margin, I mean a 3-pixel border and like a 20-pixel margin, then its actual width is going to be 446 or whatever. It's that margin and that border is going to extend past its actual width. Box sizing border box will contain it all within itself, if that makes any sense. Padding, let's put some padding on these cards, maybe 20. And
then edit the image where it's a margin of 0 auto.
Oh, the image? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Image margin 0 auto. That will center the image. Awesome. Is it just me or do we have less?
Could we put a border on the card?
That's a great idea. Yeah, we definitely need a border because it kind of looks silly without it, doesn't it? 1-pix solid black. This is how boring I am. This is why I'm not a designer. I'm like, yeah, let's put a black border on it. Why not? Like, it's like nothing creative or awesome about that. Oh, dude, that is huge. Oh, no wonder. Okay, well, let's make the image bigger. Maybe that'll make it look better. So we got padding of.
Could you inspect the card and see what is giving us the big side garbage?
Oh, the reason is because I have a width of 360 pixels on the card, and the image is just not big enough to take up that space. But we're about to fix that. We have 40 pixels worth of padding, so I think we can only go to 320 pixels for width. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay, that's better. It's still to the left though. And we've got margin 0 auto as well. Oh, but this one's centered, kind of. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. They're all to the left, even though we have margin 0 on it. I guess we could like put like some, let's put some deep display flex on this card.
Could you do 50%? No, JK.
Okay, display flex, flex direction column, because we want everything to be like up and down. So we already know we're gonna need that. Column, and we want everything centered. So we're gonna need align items in this case. Center. Oh, beautiful. I love it. I do not love, however, that this is now in the center. I want that to be, I want this to be the left as well. Okay, so you guys heard what I wanted, right? I want this to be centered, but I want this stuff to be to the left. How can I accomplish that?
Could you put a left and right margin of 50%, 50% to the image, and that would put it to the middle?
Left to right margin of 50%. Let's try it. I've never used that tactic before, so I honestly do not know what the result is going to be. So 50%, 0, 50%. And then we're going to want to take off this align item center. Let's just comment it out for now. Ooh, that's not what we expected. There's something kind of a little trippy about it, though. I'm not going to lie, I kind of like it. But
Don't 50% to the parent. So wouldn't it be, what is that? The other code for sizing things. Does that make sense?
I have no
Or is that-
idea, bro.
Like 50% of the parent, like the
Oh, I have no idea, man. I don't
because
even.
it's 50% of the page, correct? But yeah, we want it.
Oh no, that'll be 50% of the parent div.
That is
What we just did, yeah. So here's where my head's going. As soon as I think, I'm like, okay, I want the image to be centered, but I want everything else to be to the left. Immediately, I'm thinking that I want to put the image in a div onto itself. You know what I'm saying? So I can control its styling separately. So that's what I'm gonna do. Right here. Come on, get to the right spot. Oh, and then this is way too long. I need to do something about that real quick. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we're in a div. So we can access, let's go ahead and give, I don't wanna, if we just put like div here, like wrote out div and then like styled that one div the way we wanted it to, that means every div that is a child of this container will have that same styling. It'll inherit that same styling. And even though we don't have any more divs yet, so it's future proof, I'm gonna go ahead and not do that. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a class. Let's call it image container.
Do you have to capitalize the N
Whoa, what?
for class name? Oh, you did. Never mind. Your
Oh,
cursor
okay,
isn't-
yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah, that's definitely an important thing to remember for JSX. All right, and then this we want to be display flex, justify content, center, and wanted this to have a width of 100% of the parent. don't know if that's going to work actually because we have padding, but we'll see. Oh, dude, yeah, it worked. All right, awesome. This still needs some work though. Like this little Bulbasaur, this should probably be bigger. This is closer to this than it is to that. So let's take off this. Where is it? The image right here. All right, let's take off this. And that is a P tag. And we have multiple P tags, so we just want to affect this one. So class name equals Poke ID. We'll put that's to the top, so I'm going to put it like right here. I like to, you don't have to do this, but I like to style my children as they appear in the component. So this would be styled first, this would be styled second, third, and fourth, just so like if I want to change the styling, it makes it easier to predict where it's going to be inside of this container. And I think we want to remove margin top. Maybe we can just all margin 0 and see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. We probably want to make this bigger. And then like look at, they're all like scrunched together. We're gonna want to change that as well. So that is an H4. I think I'm just gonna call it an H4. Font size 20. Oh, that's not bad. What do you guys think? Bigger, smaller? That good? Yeah, let's not get too like wrapped up in like this kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and put a margin. What do you think? Like margin bottom, maybe margin bottom. 40 pixels. Or is that too big? I don't know. Let's find out. It's not too bad. What do you guys think? Bigger, smaller? This is what I love about Flex. Flex wrap, I mean. Like it's already like, it's like pretty responsive already. All right. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. I think that's good. What do you guys say? Should we add like a search bar or something? You think that's a good idea?
Yes.
All right, that is definitely challenging. So, and I think there was a stretch this week that had a search bar. So let's try that. So we're gonna need a component, and that component's gonna need access to set Pokemon. Let's go ahead. Should we put it inside a Pokemon list or? Put it like. Let's put it inside of app.js. Just call it search bar, which means we need a new component. Search bar.js. All right, I'm gonna have you guys walk me through it. We're creating a new component. Just yell it out when you know it.
Import React.
Import React from React.
Do we need to import anything from the Pokemon list? Or
Oh, to like for props? Yeah, we're definitely gonna need props. Const search bar, right? Search bar equals props. Return. And then, just so I don't forget, go ahead and do this.
That's by default.
Yes. By the way, so I used to always be that guy that would do this, something like this. Export default props like that. And then you wouldn't have to do this. That was the way I did it every single time. But then Dan Abramov, one of the guys at Facebook who works on React, said that that can cause very strange bugs every once in a while. So ever since he tweeted that, I have stopped doing that. All right. Actually, I wonder if this is going to be an input, so maybe we should make it a form instead of a div. Yeah, let's do that. Form, and we're going to have an input. All right, what else do we need, guys? I think we're going to need some kind of state because we're going to need to keep track of the input, what the value that's inside of the input, right? So const inputs, set inputs, set input equals use state, and then I guess we'll initialize it with an empty string. All right. On change, so do we want to create an actual handle change function, or do we want to do like a anonymous function if I'd be on change? What are you guys thinking? I could go either way. Is there any way you guys would prefer to see it done? I think I've seen most of you guys in your projects do something like this. Set inputs. And then this will be e.target.value. I don't think we actually need to put that e there. I think it'll be passed implicitly, but just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I think that would be fine. We can test it. Oh, whoa. Search bar is not defined. Okay, we have not imported our search bar. Was it Pokemon? No, it was an app. Yes. All right, import search bar from components. Search bar, okay. Beautiful. All right, let's test this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, it's working. All right, let's put a placeholder there so people know what it does. Placeholder equals find Pokemon. Find Now, where the real magic of this is going to happen, where all the really hard logic is going to be in this on submit, right? This is where it's really going to get difficult. Handle submit. We're going to have a handle submit function. Handle submit equals E. So we're going to have function in here. We're going to have functionality in here. Okay, so wait a minute. We need to set the value, don't we? Value, yes, equals input. Let's make sure that still works. You guys got to watch me, man. It has been a while since I've made a React app. You guys got to catch me on stuff like that. Okay, it's still working, so it's control. All right. Okay, so this search function is going to actually change the state of Pokemon, I think. So we're going to actually have to have access to the set Pokemon function here, I think. The thing is, though, is I don't know if I actually want to change this, because that means in order to get our Pokemon again, we're going to have to make another Axios call. I don't think I like that.
Could you pull up a search as an alert? Could it bring up just the card of the Pokemon as an alert?
That is an interesting idea. I actually do really like that. But the thing is like, what if they want like a ton? Because here's what I had envisioned in my mind for this search function, right? You type B and you get all Pokemon who have a B in their name. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a lot. So
that sounds too complicated. Just kidding.
Where's your sense of adventure? Let's see. I almost feel like, so we don't want to change this. We know we don't want to change this, which means we're going to have another, we're going to have Pokemon saved in state somewhere else. Which I'm thinking now maybe Pokemon list. So like, what if we have another Pokemon state stored in here, and that state is set by this Pokemon right here, but we could also have the search bar in this component as well, and then pass that set Pokemon function down to the search bar, and then the search bar will only be affecting the state of Pokemon inside of this component. I don't even know if it's going to work, but I think it will. So let's go ahead and try it. Const Pokemon. And so there's not any confusion. I'm going to change this back to props. Props, which means this is going to have to change. Is that the only place it needs to be changed yet? Okay, props. Yeah. All right. Set Pokemon equals use state Pokemon. All right. Props.Pokemon. All right. So I'm actually a little suspicious that, okay, so what's going to happen is, like, the first time this component is created, props.Pokemon is actually going to be an empty array. And so I'm a little suspicious that once the Pokemon actually get the data from the Pokemon Axios call actually gets called, that's not going to be updated here. So in order to ensure that it does get updated, what do I need? What do we need when we want state to change based on something else that happens?
Don't you need the little brackets at the bottom of the the effect?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, right? Think of it as like a side effect, right? The data is going to change, and as a side effect of that data change, we want this to happen. Exactly. All right. And it's not going to be an empty array. It's going to have the props.pokemon inside of the dependency array. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Props.pokemon. All right. And in here, I think we're just going to set Pokemon to props.pokemon. I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and save that and see if it's working. Okay, we've got an error. Use state is not defined. That's easy to fix. All right. State. Nice. Okay, nothing broke. Nothing broke yet. All right. So I think we're going, so our search bar needs access to this set Pokemon function. So that means that the search bar is actually going to have to live inside of this component. So let's go ahead and import it. Import search bar. Search bar, yes. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Search bar right here. Oh, yeah. And we already know that set Pokemon is going to have to be passed. That may be all that needs to be passed. Let's go ahead and, while we're thinking about it, take search bar out of here. Oh, where's that? Right here. Clean up. Make sure nothing's broken. Ooh, that's ugly. That is definitely not, that can't fly. We cannot allow that. I'm calling it. That's got to change. All right. So that is in Pokemon list. Maybe we should put all of our Pokemon cards in a separate div. I mean, notice like whenever as soon as I knew that I wanted to isolate the style of something, my first thing I go to is I'm like, okay, this needs to be separated. It needs to be put in a different container. That's the first thing I go to. Let's give this a class name of some sort. Class name card container, perhaps. Cards container. So we are going to need to change some of these cards container. So some of this is going to have to get moved over here. We probably still want the padding on the outside. Just to make sure this is taking up 100% of the parent's width, I'm gonna go ahead and set its width to 100%, not 1000%, 100%. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is where we want it. It's just this isn't yet. Okay, and we can fix that easy. All right. So display flex, flex direction column. And we want it centered, so we're going to need to use align items again. Center, see what that looks like. Ew, we definitely need some margin. Okay. Margin bottom, comma. Oh, but we can do that in search bar. Because that has to do with the search bar container. But just to show you guys, since search bar is inside of this container, we can actually affect its styles from in here. So let's do form, because remember that search bar is inside of a form. So we'll do margin bottom equals 40 pixels. I think that was the margin we did before. Yeah, because it's inside of the other component. So we can affect its styles from here. Because this is a form and it's a child of this div. Okay, and actually I'm just gonna leave it for now. Okay, so now we have set Pokemon. So we want to set, props.set Pokemon, right? Props.set Pokemon. And it'll be input, right? No. That's just gonna give that's gonna set Pokemon to the input. All right. So if we have an array of objects and the name, right? So we have this is a list of objects that has a name and a URL. And we want to search by the name. So what array method would we use to only return some items of an array based on some kind of test? What array method should we be using?
Filter.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's exactly right. Pokemon dot filter. All right, so each one of these is a monster. Let's go ahead and put this to the and so how does anybody here know how to search a string for some substring to see if a string contains a smaller string? What string method do we use? Does anybody know? All right, it's the includes method. All right, so we want to say if and I think it returns a true or false. Let's check for sure. So JS string contains substring. Nice. Not W3 schools. I want to see NDN. True or false? Yes. And that's good because that's exactly what filter is looking for. Each item has to pass a test. If it passes the test with a true value, then that item will get added to the new array. If it doesn't pass a test, it doesn't get added. So this is exactly what we need. All right. So mom.name.include. I think that's right. And then we want input. I think that's going to work. Let's take it for a test drive, see if we have any errors. Come on, get out of the way. We do have an error. Pokemon is undefined. Oh, dude, so we need Pokemon as well. Oh, I didn't even think of that. All right. So we also have to pass down the Pokemon value. Okay, that makes sense. Pokemon, because we need to have the Pokemon data in order to filter through it. I guess that makes sense. All right. Let's see if we have any errors now. Pokemon. Oh, because it's props.pokemon. All right. Props. Oops. Props.pokemon. Okay, so far so good. All right, so B, that did not work. Oh, I think I know what it is. Does anybody have an inkling as to what could be causing our problem? So we pushed, we typed a B, we pressed enter. It looked like it worked for a split second, but then it's just like it was. What happened?
Do we need to set like a timer or an instance for how long it stays there before it refreshes?
That would be an interesting thing to try. But what's happening here is by default, there's a keyword for you. When you press enter on a form, it reloads the page. So we re-rendered our component when we press enter. So we need a very important method right here. Anybody know what it is? Okay, it's prevent default. We want to prevent the default behavior, which is reloading the page on form submit. By the way, by the time you guys get through this unit, this kind of stuff that we're talking about right now, like knowing that you need to have prevent default, you're gonna learn it, because we're gonna be starting on forms next week, and you're gonna run into this so many times. You'll know it, guaranteed. All right, let's test our. Nothing happened. That's not a good sign. Okay, so it's obviously not working. Let's see what's happening. Props.set Pokemon. So we're setting the Pokemon, filtering it. Oh, I knew this was going to be weird.
Could we put a console log somewhere in that search to see where it gets to and where it stops?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. We should at least be checking for errors too, shouldn't we? That's a great point. Let's try this again. Okay, no errors. We're searching input, right? And our input is changing. Target that value. So let's do some console logs, like you were saying. Console.log inputs. Make sure that we're actually getting the input value that we're expecting. Bulb. Okay, yeah, so we are getting our input that we expect. Oh, dude, we're not returning the value. We need to return this. Oh, dude, what? I bet that's what it is. All right, let's try that. Bulb. I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong. I was like, yeah, that's it, man. I figured it out.
So question, so
Yeah.
is it, so when we do this search, is it going to eliminate all the rest and just leave the ones that match?
Yeah, that's the idea, but it's obviously not working. Let's let's make sure that we need to make sure that the data is what we think it is. Console.log moan. Surely that's not it. Surely moan is not res.data. Here, I need to console.log. All right, yeah, so that wasn't how I thought it was. Okay, old. Okay, so it is the shape that we thought it was. Moan dot name is what we need. Yeah, is that function incorrect? Is that what it is? My includes function? Moan dot include, string dot include. Yeah, that looks right.
Is this how crazy tomorrow's is going to be?
Oh no, dude, no,
Okay.
definitely not. Yeah, this is not.
I was going to say half of this stuff I hadn't seen yet. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, this is like just some other thing. We're like, hey, let's put a search bar on there.
Right.
Oh, dude. What? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Blue whale dot includes blue is false. Case sensitive. That's right. Weird. I'm gonna try something else real quick. Let's have it on a handle change. Handle change. I'm just a little worried that it's something weird with the form is what's screwing us up. Handle change. Blah blah blah. Set input target dot value set. I'm just gonna pretty much like copy this. I bet it's like some kind of freaking misspelling somewhere. I didn't even think of that. Did I not copy everything? I did. I got Pokemon somewhere or something like that. And we want this to be on the e.target.value instead of input. And this should change the values as we type. But it's not. So it's not the form. It's something to do with that. I have this feeling it's something to do with this. So we're setting Pokemon. Match. Oh, dude, of course. Does anybody else see it? Oh, I cannot freaking believe that. Look at the data we're mapping over. So the whole time we're still mapping off of the props.data instead of the local state of Pokemon. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Let's change that. At least I hope that's what it is. Okay. Let's go. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. As we type, we are changing. I love it. It's beautiful. But but look at that. Look at that. As we delete, it's not updating though. So we need to figure out what's up with that. But still, that's happy. That makes me happy. All right. So why is it not filtering as we delete? On change, handle change. That's so weird. What? Char. Oh, somehow we've gotten destructive, it seems like. Look at this. That is not what we want. I kind of feel like we are like destroying our original Pokemon list somehow. And that is definitely not what we want. Let's make sure that we pass down the right stuff. Totally did. Set Pokemon and Pokemon. Well, it was almost working, right? Char. Okay, wait. Can't perform a React state update on an unmounted component. This is a no-op. Weird. So I think that has something to do with me canceling the render of one of these cards before the data has been fetched. I think that's what that error is talking about. Let's get rid of some of these console logs. Oh, dude, I think I got it. So what's happening is like we're changing the state of the Pokemon inside of the Pokemon list, right? But what if we change the data on the Pokemon list based on filtering out the Pokemon from the mother component, from the app.js? Because we're always changing this. We're always changing this is basically what's happening. And we can't, once we change it to only Bulbasaur, of course we can't search for Charizard because this only contains Bulbasaur. But if this component always has access to the props.pokemon, the master state that has all the data of all the Pokemon, then it should work. Let's try that. Bulb. Okay, good. Yes! Yes! I love it. All right. Does anybody have any questions on what we've done with the search bar? I know it's like I didn't have this project plan, so it's been kind of like you've been seeing me hit these errors, and you know, I've been troubleshooting as you've been watching. I know my internet's really crap right now too, by the way. Sorry about that. Does anybody have any questions about anything before we try something else? I know it's past time, but if you guys are willing, I can just keep moving on and adding to this.
What was the last thing you changed to make it work?
Oh, okay. So it's right here, right? So we were passing this Pokemon down to the search bar. And the problem with that is that like once we changed this the state of this Pokemon data to only being Bulbasaur, we couldn't search for other Pokemon. So what I'm actually passing to it now is this state of Pokemon, which is our master list of Pokemon. So this master list of Pokemon, this has all the Pokemon that we originally made our Axios search for. That gets passed down to Pokemon lists. And we use that to set this local state of Pokemon. And what I'm doing is I'm passing that master list down to the search bar so we can use it to search for the Pokemon that we need. So we'll always have access to the full list of the Pokemon. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
All right.
On app.js.
Yeah.
So why did you not put the search bar there? And why did you put it like calling it or referencing it there? Why did you reference it in Pokemon list, I think?
Yeah, I'm trying to, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that now. So we originally had it in app.js, right? But then I was like, I don't want to change this master list of Pokemon, because if we change this list of Pokemon, that means we're gonna have to make an Axios call to get that data back. So that's why I decided to make the choice to pass that data down to Pokemon list and then move the search bar here.
Is there no Axios call in app.js?
Yeah, there's one Axios call that's made when the app component first renders.
Okay, and so you didn't want to do
multiple Axios calls for this master list, no.
Okay. It calls that once, pulls all the data into Pokemon list, and then you can just navigate the data already pre-pulled there.
That's right. You got it, man.
Okay.
You got it.
And then can you walk through the search bar real quick of what's part of it?
Yeah, so I guess that'll start right here when what we're passing down to the search bar form. We're passing down the master list of the Pokemon. This is from our main source of data, our source of truth in this application. And we're also passing down the set Pokemon function for the Pokemon list component. In search bar, it's really simple. It's deceptively simple. It looks simple, but it's really not. All we have is a form with a single input. On the input, we have a handle change function. As we type into this input and the value changes, we set input. And the only reason we have to do that is so we also have the handle submit functionality. If we didn't want to have this functionality, we could just completely remove this input set input state data. But we wanted it, so we kept it. Also, every time the value is changed, we do another filter on the master list of Pokemon to get the Pokemon that match the input inside of the input. The input, yeah. So every time we change this, it makes another filter. It does another Pokemon.filter, Pokemon.filter, Pokemon.filter. Every time you change it. But also on enter, it will. So press enter, now we can just look at everything. Let's see. And I think that's it. These are the main things that you want with an input. You're gonna have the value equals whatever state, your state of your input right here. And you're gonna have an on change function. That's the main parts of an input. And you guys are gonna be doing that a lot next week. You know what we could do? I know it's late. I mean, I'm gonna like kind of here. I'm going to create like a little. All right. Thumbs up if you want to add functionality to access Pokemon by generation. And what I mean by that is, so we can create like a next generation button. And once you click on that next generation, then it gets all the Pokemon in the next generation. And we'll have a previous generation button that gets all the Pokemon in the previous generation. So be completely honest. I know it's really late. We're like 30 minutes over right now. So if, you know, like if you're tired and you don't want to do it, that's cool. 2 votes so far. All right, let's go ahead and do it. I'm not tired, so you know, guys, if you guys are like, you know, feeling it and you want to like go to sleep, feel free. I think I'm gonna press on and like keep working on this. Let's see. Okay, so we want a button. Let's look at our app here.
Are you also going to save this? Give us a link to it for reference.
Oh yeah, totally. This will
Okay.
be on the solution branch. Matter of fact, I will go ahead and commit and push right now. Git add. Wow, that's a lot of changes. Git commit. Added list cards and search bar. And that's on the solution branch. So what we could do is we could have like a button here that's like next generation and a button here that's like previous generation. And basically what's going to happen is when we click next generation, it's going to have to make another Axios call because that main Axios call in app.js only got the first generation. Let's start there. It could be that we have to change it like we did the search bar. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna have a button here. It's gonna say previous generation and a button here that says next generation. Next generation. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's obviously not what we want. Okay, let's put these in a div so we can control their styles a little more. All right. and it's still the same. But at least we can change the styles. Let's call this button container. Class name equals button container. All right. Display flex and maybe like a space between or something. Display flex. Justify content space between. Let's see what that looks like. Wow. Okay, we definitely don't want that. I think we can fix that by centering the cross axis. So align items center. Yes, okay. Awesome. In order to get, we've got space between as our justified content, and since there's no space in between these elements, we obviously know that the parent element is only as wide as its children, so we can set a width to get these farther apart. Let's try, yeah, that's right, the width. 900 pixels, try that. It's not bad. We'll go with that for now. All right, so this is going to take some doing, right? So here's where we can do, this is how I got the first generation. I knew the number of Pokemon in the first generation, and obviously I wanted to start from 0. So basically what we're going to have to do is tell it how many Pokemon we want and which index we want it to start at. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write a note of that. So like, how many Pokemon and index to start at. Let's go ahead and start building our on-click. I don't want to create 2 separate handle click functions. So I'm going to give each button a name and then use the same handle click function for both of them. We'll call this prev. Or we could call it minus. Now let's call it prev. And we'll call this one next. And they both are going to have an on click. That is going to be handle click. All right, so let's start building this handle click function. Const handle click equals event. Okay, so we could easily do an if statement for this. So like if e.target.name equals previous, then we're going to do this. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it with a switch statement, because if you end up having like the same function handling like a huge number of buttons or something like that, it would be nice to be able to look back at this and see how to do it with a switch statement. All right, so switch statement, the case is going to be based on the name of the element. And we're going to have 2 cases. Prev. Go ahead and put a break there for now. Case next. I'll go ahead and put a break there. And React gets fussy if you don't include a default statement. So even though we know for sure we're not going to need one, I'm going to go ahead and put one anyway to avoid a warning. So right here is where we're going to need to put our functionality for break, and right here is where we're going to need to put our functionality for next. I think we're going to need to. There's multiple ways we could handle this. So we could have like state that represents our like limit, how many Pokemon we're querying for, and our the index to start at, which is offset. Or we could have like state that represents the generation, and it could include all of that. Kind of want to go with a generation one, with something like const generation set generation equals state. What is going to be the default? All right. Const generations. I'm going to make a array that is going to represent all the generations of Pokemon. All right. And for each generation is going to have to contain, let's see, it's going to have to contain the limit and the offset. So limit, offset. All right. We are going to need some Wikipedia action going on here. Okay, Pokemon Wikipedia. This is not exactly what we need. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not it. Generation. Okay. Pokemon generations. Wow. Okay. This was no information at all. List of Pokemon? Oh, hey, let's go. Okay, awesome. So yes, this gives us our size right here, dude. It's right here. And we've got 8 generations. Awesome. Okay, sweet. Let's go ahead and get this started. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 generations. 151, 100. 151, 100. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and like push this onto my other screen so I can see them and type it out while I'm on this screen. Okay, 135 is in the next generation. 107 is in the next generation. 156. 72. What? Oh, my numlock's not on. Okay, let's try this again. Just 107, 156. 72, 80, 88, 8, and 87. All right, So that gives us the number of Pokemon, which will be our limit. All right. But now we need our first index. So it's going to be, like, this is going to be 0. And this is going to be 151. This is going to be 251. Let's see. Oh, awesome. I mean, it's got it like right here. Like total. 251, 386. All right. Is that right though? 1, 0, 2. Because it actually goes from 0 to 150, doesn't it? Because the index is actually 150. So that would be 151. Okay, yeah. All right. All right. Okay, 251. 386. 493. This is really exciting, right? Data entry. It's necessary to get the functionality that we want. 809. I think that is going to work right there. Okay, so we have our generation array. And default, we're going to have it set at generations 0, 0. Which means this is going to have to change. This is going to be generation. This is the number of Pokemon, so generation 0. And this will be the offset, which will be generation 1. I think that'll work. Let's just see if that works alone on our React app. It looks like it's working. It's still loading though. Okay, got it. Okay. So now we gotta set this. Okay, so if previous, but we need some kind of like functionality to say like, hey, wait a minute, but if we're at index 0, we can't do a previous, right? Oh, but we could disable it. Blah, blah. You could like have like some kind of functionality like if we're at generation 0, then we have a disabled button here, and then other else we have a button that does have this functionality on it. That's probably better. How are we going to detect? I guess we could detect if the offset is 0. So if generation 1, so generation 1 is equal to 0, then we're going to have a button that is disabled. So we won't even need all of this stuff. Disabled equals disable. Else, we'll have our normal button right here. And if this is working, as soon as we press save, we'll be able to look at our thing here and it will be disabled. We've got both. What? Oh, that's right, because I didn't delete the other one, right? Yes, okay, so, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Check it again. Awesome. So that means we don't need to add functionality to ensure that this doesn't happen because it's disabled. You can't click on it anyway. And we're going to need to do something like that for the other button as well. And what is the offset for this one? 809. 809. 809. Then we're going to have next generation. Next.
Does it matter that it's not the full total of it all?
What do you mean?
If you go back up to the arrays, there's actually a little more math to do if you add those two together than if you did like 0, 896. Makes sense? Because there would be one more line, but I don't know if you need it.
I don't think I need it. Let's check. Let's go ahead and set this to gen 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Set it to the last generation and see if it works. Looks like it works. Awesome. Everything's rendering as well. All right, but we still don't have functionality though. I mean, we're not moving generation to generation. Okay. And actually, does that mean this is going to have to? It is. It's going to have to change based on generation, right? Generation, I believe. And if set generation. How are we going to set it to the previous generation? Programmatically. I mean, I guess we could save the index in here as well. Yeah, that's simple. I mean, there's probably an easier way to do this, but like, I don't know, maybe like my caffeine's wearing out or something. I don't know. Control-C. All right. So we're going to use this first index of this array to detect the current index. 7. Which means this is going to have to change. So this is going to be 1. This is going to be 2. These are going to be 2 as well. So generation equals generation 0 minus 1. I think that will work. Let's see. And this will be plus 1. There's only one way to find out. Okay, that took us to the first generation. That is definitely not what we wanted to do. Generation. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, generations. Generation. This is so convoluted. 0 minus 1. Wow. Okay. This will be plus 1. Doesn't look like anything. Something's happening. Oh yeah, it worked. I think it's working. It's taking a while to render all the components, but it is happening. And the first 3 should be the starter Pokemon of each generation. Yeah, it's working. It's working! All right, let's set this default back to 0. That is not 0. Oh, and we're still showing generation 1 too. We need to change that. Why is it showing me the second generation? Generation 1. Weird. Cannot read property 2 of undefined. Something's awry here. By default, we're going to be generation 0. Oh, we've got like an extra. Okay. Yeah, that's probably the problem right there. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Awesome. Okay, it's working. It's working. I don't know. I mean, is there anything? Oh yeah, we wanted to change the generation that's displaying, right? Okay, Gen 1. So we can actually use this index counter, I think, to do that. So that would be generation 0 and then plus 1, I believe. Yes. Okay. All right, and we can see like our C Pokemon here. Nice. Pichu. Smoochum. All right, awesome. Yeah, it's working. Awesome. I think I'm gonna call it there. Do you guys have any like questions about anything we've done? Like towards the end, it kind of just turned into like you guys watching me do something, watching me work through a project.
No, you killed it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think so my idea for this was to have you guys watch me struggle, right? And that happened. Like we ran into problems and you saw how I troubleshooted and how I solved the problems. But I think what I'm going to aim for next time is like more participation, like more of like driver navigator type of thing, where I'm going to have you guys like tell me what to type. I think that'll be more beneficial, but hopefully this was helpful either way. All right, and I'm going to push this up to GitHub for you guys. And I have been recording, so I will push this recording up to Slack as soon as it's done rendering and all that. I'll go ahead and stop it right now, as a matter of fact. All right.